Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome back for the last card in my series, Quick and Easy Cards. Today's card involves pattern paper, which as you know, I don't normally use, but it can really make a card quick and easy. I've got my Papillon Potpourri set by Stampin' Up! In the matching punch. And I've got some pattern paper here. This is the 6x6 pad that Stampin' Up! Just retired called Cherry on Top. But just use any, I prefer small patterns, but any pattern paper will do. If you have a matching ink, even better. This is Crushed Curry and it's a small dot-ish pattern. So anyway, I'm going to start by stamping my butterfly in Ranger Archival ink on Neenah Solar White cardstock. I'm not using watercolor paper, I'm just trying to make this as quick and easy as possible. So here is my paper and my matching ink pad, Crushed Curry. I'm also going to be using Tempting Turquoise. So with the Stampin' Up! Pads, you squeeze them and that gets the ink on your lid and then you can pull it off the lid. I'm going to be using an aqua painter and I'm going to do this really fast because it's not watercolor paper. So you can see it works pretty well. You just start in the dark area and move out, and as long as you have enough water on your brush, you should be fine. Now I'm moving on to my Tempting Turquoise. I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going to start on the outside because that's where I want my brightest, darkest blue to be. So I'm going to start on the outside, move my way in. You can see that I'm not too worried about going outside the lines here because my punch is going to punch it right on the edge of that black. So you can see here I'm getting a little bit, it's kind of dry, and I'm noticing that as I'm moving here. And when you get not enough water, it's just not going to move around on the paper. So I'm testing it and I'm squeezing it a little bit more to get some water out. And once I get the water out, then it spreads just fine. So I'm going to finish this up here, and you can see I get a nice pretty green where the two colors meet. You could use watercolor paper if you want to, but I just grabbed what was quick and easy, and that was my Neenah. So anyway, you want to let this dry thoroughly. You don't want to punch a wet or damp piece of paper, but I went ahead and set it with my heat tool to make sure it was completely dry before I punched it. And you can see that this punch goes right up to the edge and there's no white outline around the butterfly, which is why I love this punch so much. I've cut my pattern paper to 2 1/4 high by 5 1/2 inch wide. And then I have a piece of black cardstock, just a strip that I cut a little bit wider than 5 1/2, so I had some room to kind of adhere it with my fingers on the side. I'm adding some linen thread for a little bit of texture on this card, so I just put some tape runner on either side, about 3/8 of an inch up, and then I'm just wrapping this around twice, and then I've got the sticky on the edge that I'll just press it down and it'll adhere. So I'll just cut off this excess, and then I'm going to take this and adhere it to a card base, so I'll just use my tape runner on this, and then I'm going to put it on the top half of my card. And remember I told you that my 2-way glue pen dried up. Well, now I'm using my multi-medium matte, and I don't have a fine tip applicator here, so it just came out in this huge little lump. So what I'm doing is take my finger and I'm just gonna apply it all the way down the strip, and this worked incredibly well. I got really nice, even thin coverage, so I was kind of impressed with doing it this way. And I might do that this way in the future. But anyway, so I have some leeway on the side because I cut this a little bit longer, so that way I can make sure that I get it all the way across and be able to handle it on either side. So I'm going to press that in place, and then it just took me a second to get that glue off my finger. It's not hard to get off. And then I'll take my scissor and I'll trim off the sides that hang over the edge. And now it's time to adhere my butterfly. I used glue dots, so I'm going to figure out where I'm going to put this and bend it up a little bit so that the wings are coming off the paper. And these are 1/8 of an inch glue dots. And what I usually do is touch my butterfly to the glue dot, and the glue dot will stick to the paper. And I decided to put it on top of the linen thread, and that would provide a little bit more security for the linen thread to stay into place. And now it's time for the sentiment, quick and easy. I'm using the Altenew UR set, which has a lot of really nice sentiments in it. I love this set. Some VersaFine Black Onyx ink, and I guess I could have used my Misty, but I was just, you know, grabbing something that was easy, so I grabbed my block and I stamped it right there in the middle, and it turned out just fine. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. This is my last card in the series. It's been a really fun series, and I think it's been really good for some ideas that you need like on the go. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.